Good evening, everyone. It's Carla Gambell here. We've got the lovely Katrina here live, and I know there's quite a few of you who were unable to make it tonight but have asked specifically for the recording. So here it is. So tonight is really all about giving you the tools and the framework to get you going in the right direction towards achieving your goals for 2024. We get to the first month of the year, and it's quite often when we start to reflect a little bit on how things have gone over the last year and what we'd really like to implement and put in place to achieve, for this particular year. And quite often that's where it stops, and that's as far as you get. You have that thought process, and there's all these wonderful things that you want to achieve, and you think, yep, that's my New Year's resolution. Gonna go for that, and you last about a month or two, and then life happens and the wheels fall off. And there's quite a number of reasons for that, which I'm going to go through in this presentation tonight to make you more aware of why these things sometimes happen. And like I said before, to give you the tools and the right framework so that you can follow those goals all the way through and achieve your goals by the end of the year. I mean, how amazing is it going to feel if you've set yourself a goal for the year, and by the end of the year you can give it a big tick and say, yep, you achieved it. Like that is just the ultimate, pat on the back for yourself. And whether it's a health and fitness goal, and I guess, we are definitely having more of a focus on a health and fitness goal this evening, but this framework can actually be transitioned and used in all different aspects of your life. So you can apply this same framework to your business goals or money goals or lifestyle goals, whatever it is. So it's a really, really useful framework to be able to put into action. So I am going to jump straight in and actually share my screen and go straight into the presentation. I have had a chat with Katrina and basically said jump in with any questions that you've got anytime at all. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm just going to go into big screen there and just minimize that. Just give me a second to move things where they need to be. Okay, so this was the promo, how to make 2024 your year for more. And I think, this is where we all sort of start at the beginning, and we've got these great aspirations like I mentioned before, but we really need to just take that next step and know exactly how to plan out and how to implement your goals. Look, most of you know who I am. I'm not really going to spend too much time on this page here, but that's just a little background into my 20 plus years of working in the health and fitness industry. Everyone who's registered will actually get a copy of these slides. So if there's something that you kind of miss, you'll get a copy of these anyway. So let's go back to basics and talk about, why do we actually set New Year's resolutions anyway? It's kind of this thing, isn't it? It's really quite symbolic of a fresh year and a fresh start. And I think that's a big reason why, the 1st of January comes along, and it is really symbolic, which is totally fine, and cultural tradition as well. In Australia and many other countries, that's kind of just what you do. And that kind of leads into number three, which is social influence. And sometimes, that can be a bit of a bad thing, because if everyone else around you is kind of talking about their New Year's resolutions, are you going to feel a bit of peer pressure when someone sort of says, "So what's your New Year's resolution?" and you haven't really thought about it yet? So there can be some social influence as well. So sometimes you can just on a whim just sort of say whatever kind of comes into your head, whatever goal or news resolution you think, on the spot is going to satisfy the people around you. So there's that social influence as well. And it can really be a time of, like I mentioned before, reflection and an opportunity for goal setting, an opportunity to get inspired and feel some motivation, which we all kind of really search for at times as well. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that down the track, and just personal growth to make yourself a better version of yourself. And all of these, have significance in setting New Year's resolutions. So, Katrina, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay. Yep.
What's your number one New Year's resolution that you want to achieve in 2024?
Consistency
Okay. Consistency in what?
in my eating choices and my exercise.
Excellent. Nutrition
Yep.
and exercise. Consistency. That's actually really good. I really like that one. And I think we could probably dive in a little deeper into that as well. But we're going to go into that a little bit later. And like I've mentioned here, it can be to lose weight, to get fit, to be more consistent with your nutrition and your fitness, to join a gym or start working out from home, to reduce your stress levels, all these sorts of things. Maybe it's a family holiday at the end of the year, or perhaps, if you're running your own business, maybe it's a business goal for you. So it doesn't matter what it is, write them down, and pen to paper, and you can have categories as well. And I think that's really important. So you can have your health category. What's your goal that you're wanting to achieve in your health category? You can have your career or business category. What are you wanting to achieve in that column? And then maybe family and lifestyle goals can be in another one. You can apply this framework to all of them. So, who wants more in 2024? More health, more weight loss, more muscle, more energy, more confidence, more self love, more control, more laughter, more love, more money, more success, more of life. All of the above, I would say. How about you, Katrina?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely all of the above. And there's nothing wrong with saying, yep, I want more of all of that. It doesn't mean that it's a selfish act. We've all got one life. What are you going to do with it? It's not selfish to want more in your life. It's really not. We've got one life, one body. So when you look after it on the inside, it's going to reward you on the outside when we're looking at health and fitness. If you're looking after your health on the inside, you're going to be rewarded on the outside. Same with your personal development and your mental state of mind. If you're looking after your education and always wanting to better yourself with, certain courses and learning something new, then that's going to show and come out in your life on the outside. So all of these things, it's all fine. It's all great to want more of all of this. So I did some digging and kind of shocked me. According to a recent Forbes poll, most New Year's resolutions fail within the first few months. The same poll also showed that 43% of people expect to fail before February. They even expect themselves to fail, which shows, an interesting mindset. And almost 1 out of 4 will quit within the first week of setting their New Year's resolutions. And there's only 9% who will actually succeed, which is crazy. And then there was another study that I looked at that was a huge 94% of people drop the ball on all commitments within the first 2 months. And there's only 6%, that study showed 6% follow through. So I know I want to be part of that 6 or 9%, and I want to know what they've got, right? So you don't want to be one of the other 94% who just drop out and just another year goes past and nothing's been achieved. So setting New Year's resolutions, it absolutely can create a positive mindset and it does lift motivation. But we're going to go into motivation a little bit further down the track, because you really need to set realistic expectations and have a clear plan in order to be successful. This is really, really crucial. So it's great to have the motivation and the positive mindset. That is all amazing. But if your goals are not realistic and your expectations are unrealistic and too high, and you don't have a clear plan, you will be part of that 94%. So there needs to be sustainable changes throughout the goal, and your goals can change along the way, and that is totally okay as well, because a lot can happen in 1 year, right? And there needs to be some ongoing effort and perseverance. So how do we actually do that? And I'm going to give you some framework and things to be thinking about in order to do that. So what I was saying before is that your goals can change along the way, and that is totally fine. And your goals need to be adaptable to circumstances, because circumstances can change. It doesn't mean you have to drop the bundle altogether. You just have to adapt your goals to your circumstances. And, this big statement at the end, let's be real, there is no journey worth doing that is ever going to be smooth sailing all the way. There's always going to be bumps in the road and detours, and that is all part of the journey. It doesn't mean that you've failed. It doesn't mean that you're not cut out for this. It's just a diversion. And as long as you can adapt with that, you will stay on track. You will stay the course. And that's where that mental kind of toughness and that positive attitude can really become helpful. The main reasons why people give in or give up, they lose motivation, they're too busy, their goals and priorities have changed, and the big one down the bottom, it's just not the right time. Oh my gosh, how many times I have heard this. Yeah, it's Carla, it's just not the right time for me to be, and I say it's not the right time for you to be looking after your health, really? When is going to be the right time? There's never a right time. You're always going to be too busy. You're never always going to be motivated. No one is always motivated 100% of the time. And we'll talk about intrinsic motivation down in the next couple of slides. So all of these, they're just excuses for you to drop out or for you to give up. So it's a matter of having that real clarity and being able to adapt to different circumstances along the way. There's never a right time because there's always going to be something happening in your life, whether it's with work, family commitments, children, dogs, whatever it is, right? There's always going to be something. Maybe you're renovating a house, whatever. But you still need to look after your health. When are you going to make your health a priority if that is your number one? So here's some really common reasons why people abandon their resolutions. The top 5 unrealistic goals. We've talked about these in the last few slides, but this is kind of just breaking it down a little bit more. So many people set overly ambitious or unrealistic resolutions without breaking them down into smaller, achievable steps. When individuals face challenges in meeting these lofty expectations, they may become discouraged and abandon their resolutions altogether because it's just overwhelming. They've set this massive goal without setting the little steps. So it's kind of like, try and imagine there's a big river that you have to cross, and on one end there's stepping stones that will get you across each step of the way across the river. But on the other end, if you haven't put the steps into place, you've got to try and take one massive leap from one side of the river to the other. It's not going to happen. So you have to have those little stepping stones in place. And this comes down to lack of planning, but also accountability. So setting a goal is just the first step. That's the very first step, setting that goal, writing it down or telling someone about it. Creating a concrete plan and establishing accountability measures are crucial for success. So whether it is a coach or your neighbor or your partner, that you tell them about your goals and you sit down and you say, this is my goal this year, and these are the steps I'm putting in place to make it happen. Can you help me stay accountable? Lack of intrinsic motivation. So this is where, people have the expectation that they are just waiting for motivation to come to them. They're waiting for that external motivation, for someone or something to motivate them to take action. Whereas in actual fact, taking action, taking the first step and then the next one will create intrinsic motivation. When you start to take action on your goals, that gives you that intrinsic motivation or that internal motivation to keep going. So resolutions that are not aligned with your with your values and your interests or your genuine desires are less likely to be sustained. So that's the other thing about having intrinsic motivation. How do you get that? You need to really make a strong connection with your why. And we'll go into that in just a moment. Having that strong connection with why you want to achieve that goal is more important than actually achieving it. So, for example, if your goal is to lose 15 kilos, why do you want to lose the 15 kilos? What does it mean to you? Well, it's going to mean that I've got more energy. I'm going to live a healthier life. I'm going to have more energy to run around with my kids or grandkids or dogs. And I'm going to feel amazing about myself. I'm going to have more confidence. That is your why. That is they're your personal values, your interests, your genuine desires. That is your why. And if you keep connecting back to that, there's your intrinsic motivation right there. So stop expecting motivation to come to you. It needs to come from within you. Number 4, the all or nothing mentality. This is a big one because there's so many people that, I mean, it's great that you have that enthusiasm and you want to just throw yourself in, but sometimes you can bite off more than you can actually chew. And it's too hard, too fast, too much, too soon, and you can't sustain it. So that can actually, if you go all or nothing, that can actually be very detrimental to achieving your goal as well, especially when it comes to health and fitness, because it's health and fitness, it's it's not, it's the journey, it's not the actual destination. When do you actually really get to your destination? Your destination actually keeps evolving. You might set a goal and achieve it, but then you'll set another one, and it's constantly evolving when it comes to health and fitness. And that's why I absolutely love this industry, because you can keep improving. It's exciting. And the last one, failure to learn from your setbacks. So you're always going to get challenges along the way. There's always going to be something that will derail you or attempt to derail you off course. But as long as you can focus back to your why you're doing this, you will only be derailed temporarily. And you will learn from what that trigger was that actually derailed you. And you will be able to deal with that situation better the next time it arises. So recognizing setbacks are not failures. They're just a learning tool, really, to keep moving forward. There's not one person on this planet that has gone through achieving either a health and fitness goal or a business goal, or it doesn't matter. Sorry about that. That's my son calling me. Great timing, Harlem. I'll just message him back. But there's not one person that, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Harlem, message me because I'm doing a Zoom call. Sorry. The joys of working from home. Yeah, there's not one person that has achieved something that hasn't ever had a setback. So it's just something to learn from, like turn your phone off when you're doing a Zoom. And I'm just going to actually try to bear with me, guys. I know I've got this on record, but hey, the joys. And, you know, none of us are actually perfect, right? On a Zoom call. Oh my gosh, he's persistent. I'm on a Zoom call. Okay, awesome. Bye. Teenagers. So there you go. Nothing is perfect, including Zoom presentations, but it's all good. So these are some things to remember. Setting realistic and specific objectives. Creating a detailed plan, seeking support from friends, family, or a coach, and staying focused on your intrinsic motivation is going to keep you on target for longer. So this is what I was kind of talking about before. There's never a right time. It's very easy to set goals and to make promises to yourself, but it's just as easy to break them. So be aware of your internal dialogue and what you're you're telling yourself, because quite often you can have negative Nancy and positive Patricia. I don't know, I just came up with that. And they can be your internal dialogue and they're having a little argument. And that's okay, but just be aware that positive Patricia has to win every single time. Negative Nancy needs to basically get back in her box and be quiet, because she's going to try and convince you about dropping out and listening to those excuses that you're telling yourself in your head of why you can't do something, why you shouldn't do something. So, vision, have a vision, a goal, plan it, put it into action, and that is going to lead you to success. So, here we go. Now, you'll all get copies of this, so don't panic. But if you do want to take notes, that's totally okay as well. So, we talked how important it is to get connection with your why. Pinpoint what it is that is truly important to you. So, write down what your goal is, but why? Why is it so important to you that you want to drop 20 kilos or be consistent with your nutrition and your exercise? What does that actually mean? Where is that going to lead? So get really, really specific and be really clear on what that actually means and what that's going to do in your life. So if it's to lose weight, how much weight? What does it mean to you? How is it going to feel? How is it going to change your life if you actually lose the weight, or if you are consistent with your nutrition and your exercise? How is that going to change your life? And how is it going to feel once you've done that, once you've achieved that? So one little tip here is the 0 to 10 rule. And this helps you actually kind of, it just helps you to prioritize some of your goals, because quite often you can sort of write them down and you might have 6 or 8 different goals, or maybe even more. And then if you give it a number of how important it is to you from 0 to 10, then you can focus on the really important goals that mean a lot to you. They're the ones that you give the most energy to. Number 2 is your SMART goals. So we've all kind of heard of SMART goals. Now this little table on the right hand side of the screen, you'll each get a copy of that, that you can print out and actually fill it out. And if your goals change along the way, just redo it. That is totally, totally fine. I would recommend revisiting your goals at least every 6 months. At least every 6 months. And if they need to be tweaked, that is totally all good. That's all part of it. So define really clear, achievable, specific objectives. So what is it that you actually want to accomplish? I want to lose weight. How much weight do you want to lose? Maybe you don't want to lose weight. Maybe it's just body composition. Maybe you want to get down to a certain body fat percentage. Maybe that's your goal. Maybe you are having regular DEXA scans and there's a certain number of lean muscle mass that you want to get to and a certain body fat percentage. Maybe that's your measuring tool. So just break it down and be really specific. What is it? Because it needs to be measurable. You need to know when you've achieved it. So having that marker of I've been consistent with my nutrition and my exercise for 4 weeks in a row. But then break it down even further. What does consistent mean to you?
Mhm.
What does one day of consistency look like? And then what does 1 week look like of being consistent? So this is what I mean by break it down into tiny little bits. It's kind of like reverse engineering it. So you have this big goal, but then you have to reverse engineer it. So you want to achieve a certain thing by December 2024. Okay, let's break it down into a 6 month goal. Where do you want to be halfway through the year? Okay, so now let's break it down into quarter. Where do you want to be in 12 weeks from now? Then break it down even further. Where do you want to be in 4 weeks? A 4 weekly goal. Break it down even smaller into weekly targets and even smaller into daily targets. That is the best. When you can get your goals and your plans set down to that daily action, you are absolutely going to achieve your goals as long as you stick with it. Ensure that your resolutions align with your current lifestyle. So that's where, you know, the realistic kind of side of it comes into, and obviously it needs to be in line with your current capabilities. So for example, you know, if you're currently, let's relate it to exercise, if you're currently doing 3 30-minute walks a week and you're setting yourself a goal of hitting the gym 5 days a week, it's not going to happen. There's too much of a gap there. We need to be realistic, and it also needs to in your lifestyle. So maybe you work full time, you've got kids, you've got, you know, after school activities, and you know, some people have crazy lives, and you're not going to be able to physically get to a gym 5 days a week or train in your garage. Okay, set something that you can realistically stick to. So maybe you're going from 3 30-minute walks to adding in on top of that just 2 20-minute conditioning sessions or weight training sessions in your garage per week. So we start small and work from there. And make it time boundly. Like I said, just break it down, break it right down. Reverse engineer those goals all the way through. It's so powerful. Number 3 is prepare for roadblocks. Oh my gosh. There are absolutely going to be roadblocks and detours and speed humps. And sometimes it's going to feel like nothing's working. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. That's just life. Don't sort of take the victim mentality and throw your hands up in the air when something doesn't work and just throw in the towel. It's kind of like relating it back to when you're driving a car and you pull over and you have a look and you have one flat tire. Do you then go around and slash the other 3 tires? No. That would be a little bit insane. We don't do that. We repair the tire or put a spare on and get back on the road and keep driving. So your goals should be exactly the same. When something kind of derails you or takes you off track for a little bit, that's okay. Adapt. Deal with the situation and get back on the road as quickly as possible to minimize the damage. Just be aware of triggers that, you know, perhaps like emotional triggers and that sort of thing, that can send you into self-doubt and sabotage, and then just into that victim mentality of, well, I'm just not cut out for this, I'm not good enough. Everyone else can, you know, do it, but it just doesn't work for me. That is all victim mentality, and you're just looking for someone or something to blame for your situation. Just own it. Take ownership if you've stuffed up. And I've stuffed up plenty of times, like having my phone on in the Zoom and my teenage son calling me to tell me he's having dinner. The joys. But it's okay to have those little moments of taking you off track a little bit. It's how quickly you can get back on track to minimize the damage. So don't let one bad day or one bad meal turn into 2 days and 3 days and then the whole week. That's slashing the 3 other tires of your car. So remember that, because it's going to happen. There's going to be stuff that comes up. So take control of your thoughts. Don't listen to negative Nancy. She is always going to try and trip you up. Take control of your thoughts. Don't let your emotions and your feelings rule your life. Oh, I don't feel like it today. If we waited till to do anything for when we felt like it, nothing would get done. Do you wait till you feel like doing the housework, or it just has to get done? It just has to get done, right? So it's taking that action to create that intrinsic motivation, understanding that there's going to be roadblocks. Sure, absolutely. That's okay. It's going to make you stronger. And you're going to recognize those roadblocks when they come up again, and you'll get back on track quicker, less damage. Yeah, this little comment down the bottom, I don't know why it's doing that. Don't focus on the bad shots, create a bulletproof mindset. So I want to kind of give you an analogy of what we often do. So let's just take, for example, do you play any sport, Katrina?
No, not really. No.
Okay. I'm just going to go with golf, right?
Okay. Yep.
I'm going to go with golf. There was someone I was chatting with the other day, and she plays hockey. So
Okay.
that was perfect. I'm like, I'm going to use hockey, right? But okay, that's fine. So, right, you're on the golf course. I don't know if you've played golf or
Not
hit
really.
it.
No.
Okay. It's a really frustrating game. I haven't played a lot, but I've definitely played. And you can hit a great shot, and then you can hit like 5 bad shots. But so many times you'll hit the ball and you know when you've hit it, it's gone off target. You know as soon as the ball hit the club that it's going in the wrong direction, or it's not going anywhere. Maybe you did an air shot, which I often do, total air shot, and the ball doesn't move. But if you've hit it in the wrong direction, how many times you watch it go into the bush or into the tree, and you watch it all the way, even though you know that was a bad shot, and you stick on that feeling and watching it go in the wrong direction. Then when you hit a good shot, you feel it. Oh, beautiful shot. You feel it come off nice and clean, pop, and it goes straight down the fairway. You don't even watch it. You just go to your clubs, walk on, and you know it's in the middle of the fairway. But why didn't you watch it? Why do we focus on the bad shots and not watch the good stuff? And you can relate this to everything in life, including going after your goals. Why, when there's something that derails us or something that we did that was not quite right, not on target, I ate that cake today. Why did I do that? You're watching that bad shot all the way when you do that. Forget it. It's done. Move on. Focus on the next good shot. That is really, really important to remember because so many of us do that way too many times. We focus on everything that we've done badly. But what we should be focusing on, we can't change that. That's behind us. What we've done, that's done. You can't change it. So let's focus on what we can do right here and now and moving forward. So, really important one, build your habits gradually. Number 4. So, like I was saying about the crossing the river, making those steps one at a time. So when you're crossing that river, try and imagine the stepping stones that are across the river. If you look too far ahead, you're going to slip into the river and fall because you're not watching where you're going. You just need to focus on your next step. And then when you're there, focus on the next step. So similar to when you're setting your goals and you reverse engineer it down to your weekly goals and then your daily goals, focus on what you've set for the day. Done. You've done that. Okay, focus on the next day and then the next day. They're your little stepping stones to hit those weekly targets and then to hit your monthly targets and so forth. So focusing on building one habit at a time. And here's just a little example. And we talked a little bit about it before as well. So you want to lose 15 kilos, week 1, 3 10-minute walks per week, no fried food. Week 2, 3 15-minute walks per week, no fried food, plus 3 good meals a day. I'm not saying that you should stick with 3 meals a day. I'm not saying that. This is just an example. Week 3, 4 15-minute walks a day, and so forth. So you're making those small, gradual changes, not everything all at once. If you try to implement too many changes at once, you will not stick with them. So just pick one little thing at a time that you're going to change on a weekly basis. You will absolutely stick with your goals long term if you do this. And 5, the accountability is so important. So share your resolutions or your goals with a good friend who you trust or family member or support group that you're involved with or a coach. Having someone to hold you accountable can provide that motivation and the encouragement as well. Sorry. My cord fell down and hit me on the leg. So really, really important. If there's something very powerful in sharing your goals with someone close to you and actually verbalizing it. So writing it down, but then verbalizing it, huge. Celebrate your milestones as well. So giving yourself those little targets and being able to say, yes, I've done it. And you don't necessarily have to be a dog and reward yourself with food. Every now and then, absolutely, you can have that treat because you've earned it. But, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a massage or a facial or something that you love, And anyway, maybe it's a dinner out with your partner. So many restaurants these days, you can absolutely stay on target with your nutrition and just choose wisely. and still be able to enjoy yourself. So they're my top 5. In summary, take some time to map out your goals, put pen to paper, or even create a vision board for inspiration. If you're really visual and you love pictures, I love pictures, I love vision boards, then use a vision board. But pen to paper is really, really crucial when you're mapping out and reverse engineering your plan. Connect with your why, really, really important, because it's times when things are going against you, when you're hitting those roadblocks, you're going to need your why. You're going to need that strong connection to your why. Otherwise, it's just going to feel too easy to give up or allow yourself to give into the excuses. When you've got that strong connection with your why, no, this is going to mean, first of all, I'm going to live longer. I'm going to live a healthier life. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to feel fantastic about myself. It's going to give me more confidence. And I'm going to feel happier within myself. They are so strong when you're hitting those roadblocks. Your SMART goals: get specific, prepare for the roadblocks, like we said. There's no such thing as failure. Absolutely not. It's just a flat tire. Don't slash the other 3. Change the tire, get back on the road. Build your habits gradually, like we just spoke about, and establish accountability. Ask for help. It's okay to ask for help when you need it. So this is kind of my help. This is just an insight into my 12-week program, one-on-one coaching with KGB, Carla Gambel Bodies. You get me, your coach, coaching call each week, mindset and goal setting, personalized, nutrition guide, personalized. There's no cookie cuts with any of my programs. Personalized macros setting, meal plans, food lists, recipe books, you name it, and personalized training plans as well. Full access to me 24/7, plus obviously your coaching call each week. Heaps of tips, and the big one, results. So this is just some of this is a snapshot, guys. This is just some of the clients that I've coached, and there's many, 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 many more. So it's really, really, this is the visual thing. This is where, my vision boards, when you can see these changes, it's super powerful. And just to give you an idea, this lady that I'm circling here, Deborah, she's 70 years old. These photos are actually only 8 weeks apart. This is the beautiful Rose. This was actually a 2-year transformation for her. She was turning 50 when she came to me, and she had so many health problems. She was 23 kilos overweight. The first year was basically just rebuilding her health. Yes, losing weight, absolutely, but just rebuilding her health. And then she decided that she wanted to step on stage, and she did. She looks amazing. So that's just this lady here. She's 60. How amazing does she look? And it's just, not all my clients are competitors. Absolutely not. It's actually only a small percentage of my clients who are competitors. Most of them are just everyday people just wanting to feel better and live a healthier life. And that is what I'm really, really passionate about. Helping people, showing them the way that they never thought was possible. And then obviously this is the supplement and nutrition system that I use personally. I certainly don't force it on anyone, but I've been in the industry for a long, long time, and I absolutely have not come across products like this that The company is so ethical. They have a no compromise attitude and approach to all their products. There's no fillers. It's all natural. There's no chemicals. There's no nasties. Everything is absolutely really top quality. I have not come across a protein powder like this on the market. And everything is clinical doses. So, just to kind of let you know that yes, there are definitely supplements that can help you, but there's a lot on the market, and I've done my research over the years, and these are the guys that I use, and I would not use anything else because they are so pure. And this is my special for you guys tonight. So everyone watching the recording, um, you have access to this as well. So, my lifestyle transformation program is 12 weeks, very personalized, individualized, and that's $109 per week, normally $149. If you've got a partner who wants to go down that journey with you, you can each pay $70 per week and get a monthly check-in call, but you still have full messenger access to me on a weekly basis. That's actually a really great way to do it. I've got a few people on the couples offer at the moment. So that is pretty much it. I'm going to stop. And Katrina, did you have any questions?
No, it's all good. Yep.
Awesome. So I'm going to just stop recording. Thank you guys for registering for goal setting strategy session. Basically, I really hope that that was useful for you. I know there was a lot of information there, and actually I'm right on time, 1 hour on the dot, so I'm actually kind of happy with that. It's a lot of talking, but there was a lot of material to get through, and that's really just a bit of a snapshot. I really hope that you can get some takeaways from that and start putting your plan in place so that 2024 can be your year for more and a super successful year for you. So I'm just going to stop recording. Thank you guys for joining.